Welcome, everybody. Episode 17 of the Great Western Podcast, Saturday, September 20th. I'm your host, as always, Marc the Wizard Missirlian, and we're joined by David Chu, basketball historian and ex-Laker fan, coach theory, world-renowned LeBron hater, and basketball lover. What's up, guys?
What's
Howdy
up,
doody.
everybody?
Okay, so the day is upon us. It's been probably a few months, honestly, that we've been wanting to do this episode. It is the Clippers curse episode. The Clippers curse is here, especially with this aspiration and Pablo Torre's notorious journalism right now. We are in this position of, a deep page and chapter and even book in the Clippers curse. So we're going to get started here. We're going to toss it over to David Chu, basketball historian and Clipper fan. So tell us, David, what is it like being a Clipper fan in 2025 right now? Let's go.
Well, that's what I'm excited to talk about because my perspective that I'm about to drop, this is from a 40-year-old Clipper fan in 2025. Okay. Growing up in Los Angeles, my dad always took me to Clipper games. I never went to any Laker games. So um, I actually still have a few of the game logs or the game books that you get. And I know one of the first games I went to was Clippers versus Bucks when Glenn Robinson was playing. So that was probably like 94.
Wow.
For the
But
Clippers or for
the
the Bucks? Because he played for both.
Glenn Robinson, big dog?
Yeah, didn't Glenn Robinson also play the Clippers?
I don't know if he went to go play for the Clippers. I don't
I
recall
know
him
he
in a
got
Clippers
drafted by the
jersey.
Bucks maybe in 94 or 93.
Check it out.
But
Look it
I
up.
remember that game specifically because I
Okay.
still have the
Tell us
magazine
about the
game.
game.
Well, I don't remember the game. I'm sure the Clippers got smoked. Um,
You could assume that.
What was the
No,
player?
no,
What was what was a
he
player you
played
think
Atlanta,
about?
Philly, and San Antonio after Milwaukee. All right, so he was never a
well,
Clipper for
well,
some
well,
reason.
what I always did was, um, we always enjoyed going to Clipper games because, well, there was a time in like, when I was 9 years old where I thought I was gonna be really good at basketball. It turns out I wasn't. But I played, on all these travel basketball teams. I go to all the camps, and I was obsessed with Michael Jordan. And so whenever one of my favorite players would come to town, we would always go and watch him at the sports arena, not the Forum, because the tickets were like $6. And the games were never sold out. So after halftime, you could literally just walk down and sit on like the eighth row.
Amazing.
This is the 90s. It was good times. But um, I'd like to start the Clipper curse in the year 1998. The Clippers have the first overall pick. Okay. In 1996, the first overall pick was Allen Iverson. In 97, it was Tim Duncan. In 1999, it was Elton Brand. Okay. Elton Brand, I don't know if he's going to make it to the Hall of Fame, but had injuries not derailed his career, first ballot Hall of Famer.
He had a good career. Probably one of the
Mhm.
best careers as
Solid,
a
but Hall
Clipper.
of Famer?
It's close.
Borderline.
We'll do the
Borderline.
Elton
Yeah,
Brand
that's
episode
later.
later.
Yeah. Okay. But
So
what about that year then? 98.
so with the first overall pick of the 1990 NBA draft, okay, in a draft that included Paul Pierce, um, and Dirk Nowitzki and Vince Carter, the Clippers select Michael Olowokandi,
The Candyman.
the Candyman. Okay, just
Yeesh.
imagine the
Who
talent that's
made that
happening
call?
around.
Yeah.
Imagine, the Tim Duncans, Allen Iversons, the Vince Carters, the Nowitzkis, the Paul Pierces, the icons. These are the people that are just like around when the Clippers are bad in the time. We
Yeah,
get Michael Olowokandi.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's the curse number
I think
one.
he was
Grant,
Who was the
out of
GM at
Boston
the time?
College. Out of Boston College, I believe. I think that's right. I hope I'm right on that one.
yeah, I think he was probably like a 4-year player too. It was really obviously a bad, terrible pick like at the time. Um, and then the Clippers go into like
Oh
this.
no, he wasn't out of thing. He was out
So
of
Elgin Baylor was the general manager at the time.
Mhm.
Pacific. He played for Pacific. That's what
Oh,
it.
he played for Pacific.
That's right. It wasn't BC. I was thinking of
Yeah,
somebody else. He comes out of a small school and like like whoever heard of Pacific, right?
The Pacific University of Pacific is in the WCC because I went to LMU, which is in WCC, so I know about Pacific. And yeah, you'd be a complete moron to select the number one pick out of Pacific.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
Elgin Baylor, I guess, was a better player than a GM.
Yeah, you can say
And then the
that.
Clippers,
He
they
also
have
he also passed on Kobe in '96 because Kobe worked out for the Clippers, and the Clippers told Kobe no one would take us seriously if we selected a rookie out of high school.
yeah, and all it takes is one of those, you selected Tim Duncan, a Kobe, and Allen Iverson, something like
Yeah.
that. It could change everything.
Your franchise trajectory and will change and yeah, absolutely. Okay, continue.
So
I'm
then we
sorry we're
have
interrupting you. This is just like a lot of feels, a lot of good stories
yeah,
for all
this
the
is feels. This is
millennial
feels. I'm taking you back
basketball
to my
lovers out
teenage
there.
years.
Yeah.
So then we have a nice little moment with Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson, and Lamar Odom, and that was cool. Okay, so we graduated high school in the year 2004, the year of our Lord. And
Huh?
the um the number one high school player at the time was Shaun Livingston. Okay,
That was your boy.
a
Yeah.
6'7" point guard out of Peoria, Illinois. And I remember he was on the cover of Slam magazine with Sebastian Telfair. And it was so sick that the Clippers picked him. And I was following him in high school, and I'm like, I can't believe this guy is going to be a Clipper. And he had Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell was the starting point guard, and it was like the perfect. Sam Cassell's a bigger guard, and he took Sean Livingston under his wing. And by year three, Sean Livingston was really starting to come into his own. And
And was Maggette
I would
on that team already? Was Maggette with them?
yeah, McGetty was definitely on that team.
Yeah.
Free throw
This
Yeah.
is
machine.
yeah,
Yeah.
Brand was on that team.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
was
No, they had a good little squad there.
right. Um, but as we all know, Sean Livingston goes basically rips his knee in half and
Mm. Gruesome video.
never plays a single
That
game
was
for the Clippers ever again.
that was one of the most gruesome, like, because
Yeah.
it wasn't contact, it was a 1-on-0 like layup or something, right?
I think he was
Mhm.
driving the lane.
He was driving the lane, but he was like by himself almost, and he's like, hey,
It
yeah,
was a freak accident. It was a no contact.
it was a
Yeah.
no contact super. I remember watching that game. I remember like the next day, I think we were like in like Miss Manuel's calculus class or something like that. The next day, me and Chu were talking.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, no. That was no. We were in college when that
We were
happened
in
because
college. Okay, okay. It wasn't
He
high
was
school.
drafted in 2004.
Okay, okay. So it was just around that time. Okay, the year after.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Never
Yeah.
mind.
But just imagine as a Clipper fan, it's like, oh, your favorite player in high school. You kind of follow him in high school. He gets drafted to your team. He's showing promise. Like the 10 games before he actually blew out his knee, he was killing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Boom, cut short, never plays for the Clippers again. Of course, has a resurgence like 10 years later on the Warriors and wins three
Exactly.
championships on
He
the
played
Clippers rival.
talk about a comeback story. That's one of the best comeback stories.
Oh my God, so cool. And
Yeah.
such I mean, do you remember how lethal he was
Dude,
on the Warriors?
his mid range was it was yeah, it was huge part of their championship.
Great offensive rebounder, just
Yeah.
floor general, was perfect, was the perfect backup guard for that team.
Yeah.
Um, so the Clippers suck. And then lo and behold, we get the number one pick of the draft, Blake Griffin. Okay. Blake Griffin,
Right.
before he plays his first regular season game in the preseason, goes up for a dunk and blows out his knee,
Yeah, this was in
misses.
2006, 2006.
He was drafted in '09,
Yeah. This is
so
about four
misses
or
his
5 years
first
late. This
regular
is about
season.
5 years later. This is 4 or 5 years later than Sean
Yep.
Livingston. Yeah.
So before he plays one NBA minute, he blows out his knee and misses the whole season. Okay. He comes back to get rid of they're playing with Baron Davis. They show promise, but to Baron Davis is washed. To get rid of Baron Davis, they trade their number one overall pick, or not the number one, their first round draft pick to Cleveland to get rid of Baron Davis contract. That turns out to
Right.
be Kyrie Irving. Okay.
Okay. We're in
And then
So repeat that. They traded the number one pick to Cleveland.
they traded their
Okay,
first
they
round pick
packaged it with Barron. Okay.
with Baron. It was
What did Cleveland did,
at the time it was expected, I think, to be around the 10th pick in the draft. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of the 10th. I'm gonna get rid of Barron's contract. We're gonna rebuild around Blake, right? That's That's smart. But of course, the number one pick, the balls fall as they will, and it's Kyrie freaking Irving.
They at that time they already had they didn't have Chris Paul yet. They had DeAndre Jordan. They had I'm looking at the real GM now. Chris Kaman, Rasul Butler, Eric Gordon were on these are the players that were on the team. They had a Drew Gooden, Steve Blake, 2009, 2010, his rookie
Yep.
season.
So they get Chris Paul. I'll admit that was running very well. They have a window right before the Warriors dynasty happens, and they blow a 3-1 lead to Josh Smith and the Hawks while James Harden's on the bench. And then Chris Paul has like 4 turnovers in a row the next year against the Thunder. And that was their best team. Um,
That was
and
what year was that? Oh no, Sylvain left. Hopefully he'll be back.
oh no, I
What year
think
was that, Chew?
he's in Sylvain is in
He's insane.
Barcelona Internet. The
Yeah, we
Wi-Fi
lost you
brothers.
there for a second. You're all good?
Yeah, sorry. This Barcelona Wi-Fi
That's
hooked up
okay.
sucks.
What
All right.
year are we
What I
talking here,
missed, what I
Chew?
missed. Baron Davis had just
Yeah.
left with the number one pick.
What
Then
year are
what?
we talking here, Chew?
This is around 13-14. This is right before the Warriors dynasty
Here,
now.
just to get an idea here. 13.
Okay, and then every year after that for the next 3 years, either Blake or Chris is injured in the
Oh,
playoffs.
we have a guest, everybody. We have a late arrival, but a good arrival nonetheless. Let's go. Here we go. Oh yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. Where'd he go? Oh, he just logged into the room. Hop on. That's funny. Okay, yeah, keep going. Sorry.
So yeah. So you know, of course you run into the juggernaut of the Warriors, and it is what it is. Great teams happen. It just so happens that they're in the same division as you. Whatever, the Warriors. We blow everything up, make a great trade to sell Blake at a high value, and we get blessed with the ninth overall pick, SGA. Again, just like Shaun Livingston. They remind me so much of each other the rookie year, just like they were sponges, soaking it up. My favorite player. What do we do?
Yep.
We send SGA every draft pick that we have for Kawhi and Paul George. Okay.
At the
We
time,
watched
how do you
Kawhi.
feel about that?
I
At the
remember, I
time.
remember I was living in Mexico right now. We
Yeah.
were all texting and I was
Yeah,
stoked.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
stoked when it happened. I
When
mean,
that
listen, at the time, you have to make that trade. You
Yeah,
have
you
to.
do.
Well,
You
you
do.
you look at it, hindsight's 2020 on that, but I remember I was actually in um uh Las Vegas for Summer League. I was actually with here we go. Perfect timing. Here we go.
Yeah, dog.
Here he is. Jay, this is perfect timing that you're here, my friend. Okay. Um, nice. I love it. There we go. There he is. The man. Okay, you got here right in time, Jay. You got here right in time. We're
I was catching it up on being a 40-year-old Clipper fan in 2025. We're up to the SGA trade.
So here we are. Here's Jay and I. We have a tablita at Javier's. Okay, we're in Las Vegas. All
Yeah,
right. We're having a great old time at Summer League.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, Doc Rivers, Patrick Beverly, they all show up to Javier's.
Ty,
Just
Ty Lue.
Ty Lue was there, and then
No, no.
no, not
What's
Ty
his
you.
Lou Will.
Lou Will, right? Lou Will was there. They're walking and we're all having fun. And Jay, I look at Jay. He's like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "What? Oh my God!" And then there was like the Clippers just got Kawhi Leonard. We're like, "What are you talking about?" And then it's like they also got Paul George. We're like, "What do you mean?" Like, no, we were so angry, and all
All
the Clippers were there.
all I hear is Pat Bev by the roulette table, and he's like, "Next 5 years is ours. Next
Yeah,
5 years is ours." Steph, Draymond, they had it. Now it's our turn. Now it's our turn. And I'm just like, these mother ruined our meal, really.
really? Yeah, I know. So I sent it back.
Well, look who's laughing now, right?
Well, how about that whole like Trey Young, Pat Bev beef that's going on
Yeah,
right now?
that was a really hot take beef. Okay, so Chew. Yeah, so
Keep
Jay,
going,
welcome.
Chew.
Keep us going, Chew. Keep us going.
So we get Paul George and Kawhi, and every year since then, one of them gets injured in the playoffs or doesn't even make it to the playoffs. Okay. And last year, I have to watch SGA and every draft pick, including Jalen Williams, that the Clippers have traded away, just steamroll the whole fucking league. Like,
Yeah.
Is
I
it the
mean,
PG curse? The PG curse?
no, this curse is, as I was explaining, this curse has
Well,
been
this
going on since Olowokandi was drafted
Yeah.
instead of Dirk Nowitzki.
Wow.
in
Choose.
You know,
'98.
that was 1998. It's now 2025. Okay, I've been a Clipper fan since the '90s. I mean, that's 27 years since Olowokandi was drafted. Just poor decision after bad luck after poor decision after bad luck. Okay.
Injuries. Lob City got hurt. They never made anywhere. Shaun Livingston, Blake Griffin,
Yeah.
like lots of injuries, right? And then you touched on
Injury after injury, and you know that's what it is. You can't stop injuries. I guess some players are less injury prone, and that's probably not a good idea to mortgage your whole future for a guy that gets injured every year.
Yeah.
But
Well. Also, which we'll get into is are some of these even injuries, or is he just not playing because he's not getting paid on the side? We'll get into that in a bit.
Oh my gosh, that whole
I know.
that thing. Okay, so hold on. That's a nice little button on this. Okay, so Chu, that was such a really beautiful and also kind of tragic poem kind of thing about the last 30 years of your Clipper fandom. And as a Laker fan, I could say like, what am I supposed to say? I feel for you as a Laker fan, as a Los Angeles fan. Or I go, haha, stupid Clippers, haha, stupid you fan. You know what? Like I'm not gonna. I don't go that route, but I know there's plenty of people in LA
I
who.
mean,
Uh,
Clippers are like the dude you feel bad for. You know, the kid at your high school who kind of got bullied or whatever, and he's a nice guy. He doesn't harm anybody, and you kind of feel bad for him.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Eric, you guys forgot to mention Eric Piatkowski. The sharpshooting legend on a 9-win team or something like that.
Well, then you got the Lakers who are like the one like popular kid who sees like the bullied kid and just like pays for his lunch. It feels like kind of we've been like paying for the Clippers lunch for the last 30 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I don't know why it's funny. I guess I just I must like pain, but it's like all of my best friends are Laker fans, and I don't know why. I could have been on the Laker bandwagon
Never
30 years ago. It would have been so much more chill than what I have to go through now, you know?
Yeah, I think maybe with like the nostalgia of going to those games with your dad probably had really paid a made a sentimental thing for you and
and
that's
there's always something about rooting for the underdog, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And I appreciate having a friend that does root for the underdog because it creates conversation like this.
yeah, absolutely.
There you
So
go.
so well, I mean we'll kick it over to Jay and Sylvain for a little bit. That was really
So
awesome.
real quick,
Yeah,
Chu,
you
what
go.
are your top 10 Clippers?
Oh boy,
Oh,
top 10 Clippers. We go top 5 maybe. Top
All
10 is
right, top
I
five
mean,
Clippers.
good.
just off the top of my head, it's got to be Blake, Shaun Livingston, Chris Paul, um, SGA for the 1 year, and then for like a throwback, I really like Eric Gordon. Really
Yeah,
loved Eric
yeah,
Gordon.
yeah,
Eric
yeah,
Gordon
yeah.
was balling when he was on the Clippers. He was a little bit younger. He was scoring a lot of points.
Yeah.
Follow-up question,
Don't
which
forget
I want
about
to answer as
What are
well because
you?
I have my answer to it. Follow-up question, Chu. What years did you have the most hope? You're like, this is it.
It was definitely after Ball. It was that window after Ballmer purchase before the Warriors dynasty. That team was
Okay.
really good,
That was the
Jan.
Lob
Like,
City team. That was Lob City
yeah,
with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin,
Yeah.
Great
Doc
Griffin.
Yeah, yeah.
Rivers, like
Yeah.
there was an opportunity,
What year
and
was that? Maybe 20.
well, Corey Brewer and Josh Smith started raining fire. They've never made a basket since then
What
because the
about the
Clippers actually
ones?
JJ
signed both of them.
JJ Redick.
AJ Redick was on a team here. Let me pull up that one team. That's a good thing. So I'm on
They
this
had a very deep team.
23 2014, the
Yeah, yeah,
playoff
yeah, right
loss.
around here.
Paul,
Hmm.
Redick, Barnes, Griffin. Was it this team or one year after?
Yes, yeah, no, it was this team because Darren Carlson was epic on that
Matt
team too. He
Barnes,
was
solid
great. Yeah.
defender.
Carlson,
Oh, they had
Crawford.
Turk too. Ito
They
Turk.
big baby, big. They had a nice bench too
Yeah,
DeAndre.
yeah, yeah.
down here.
What
Even
happened to this team?
Jackson.
What happened to this team again? They got
That's
stopped in the second
okay. They were up.
round.
They were up 3-1 against the
That's
Rockets,
that's right. They were up 3-1.
and then they benched in game four. They benched no game five. They were winning. They were up by like 20 points, and they benched James Harden, and then Corey Brewer and Josh Smith started raining hellfire on the Clippers. It was fucking crazy, dude. It was so disgusting.
Well, look,
Like,
benching James Harden is always a good
And
decision.
that was you had all first team, second team that year. Chris Paul was all defense. Jamal Crawford was the sixth man, right? That was
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. That was one of the years where I was like, holy crap, this team is deep.
yeah,
Yeah, I want to give the Clippers credit for the years that they just absolutely pummeled the Lakers every single regular season game.
it was
We
like
had to
2 years in a
we didn't
row.
beat them for like 4 years or something.
Yeah, it was 10 games or something every game, or yeah,
So annoying.
yeah. That's good. That's some love, Jay, for the
Yeah. You got to give them props where it's deserved. I mean, I think they
bro.
handled the Donald Sterling saga pretty well by kicking
yeah.
him out. I think that was very much called
It
for.
was a good move. That was a good move with all that stuff on camera. I mean,
Yeah,
on recording of what he was saying.
yeah. Bringing
Well,
pros.
well, when you say they handled it, who is they?
I would say
Because
the NBA
the
as well,
NBA
as well
handled
as
it.
probably like the board
Yeah,
members of the
yeah.
Clippers, right? I mean,
Organization
it's
itself.
really offensive towards the players, so they handled it well.
Yeah.
He bought that team, I think, for 13 mil and sold it for 2 bill.
Yeah,
2 billion.
yeah. He doesn't regret anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Donald Sterling's just fine.
Yeah, I guess he's like, but whatever. But
Yeah.
so that was so what else you guys got?
Can
QJ,
we
what else?
sprinkle in real quick? Can we sprinkle in
What?
one of the
Sprinkle some stuff in.
decisions, if we fast forward a bit towards 21, 22, the Clippers on paper, they still have James Harden, Paul George left, Kawhi's around, uh, or maybe Paul George was still on, I forget. They made the decision, I don't know why, to sign Russell Westbrook.
Oh yeah, the Kurt. Talk about
Why would they
Curtis,
do
huh?
that?
Poor guy.
Now, of course, that team got injured towards the playoffs, as they notoriously do.
Right.
And Westbrook was running the show, and they had a chance to go get out of the first round. And sure enough, it comes down to the wire. And what does it do? Westbrook just makes these boneheaded play after play after play. I think it was a game 6 or 7. I forget. They got eliminated that game. Um, but I think both James Harden and
Yeah,
Kawhi were out.
yeah. If Westbrook just is notorious for forcing it. I mean, he depends so much on athleticism that he just thinks that he's gonna blow by people and just like create
Oh,
plays.
he doesn't think. He doesn't. He doesn't have much upstairs, man.
I mean,
He's got a
Westbrook,
lot of
if you're
heart.
watching this, I didn't say it.
Got a lot of heart.
Got a lot of heart, and I
I
think that's
think.
and he's got the stats too. Like that's Mr. Triple Double right there. So I think teams like kind of premise that with him, and they end up signing him for veteran minimums. But in the end, he's just not that guy.
Yeah, at this stage of his career too, you got to think like I mean, by the time he played for the Clippers, he's already been in the league for like 15 years, like at least
Well,
12.
it's after also an atrocious year with the Lakers,
Yeah.
right?
But we
Goes to the Clippers.
we don't have to get into Russell Westbrook too much.
Well, just touching on that, the only time that Russell Westbrook ever plays well in a Clipper game is when he's playing for the Nuggets in the playoffs last year, and then he starts just making threes.
But then he did have some
Wanted his
unforced
revenge.
turnovers that were like pretty detrimental to that game.
Well,
That
he
had
he he played terrible. He only plays well against the Clippers, and then he played terrible against the Thunder
Yeah,
in the next series.
that's what it was.
But
Yeah.
let's fast forward to this offseason. We re-signed Chris Paul, and we're excited. The Clippers are like, this is the last year. All the contracts are lined up so that Kawhi and James Harden they have these next 2 years, and then Giannis is going to be a free. This is on the Clippers message boards. Giannis is going to be a free agent in 2 years. We're lining everything up. The salary caps. We have plenty of draft picks which we've never had, and dating back to the SGA trade, which is funny now because it's the SGA trade, it's not the Kawhi trade. And
Right.
Don't forget the
and
Lakers
honestly,
lose Braun in probably 2 years, so we'll be in the running for Giannis too.
yeah, I
Imagine
know.
Giannis gets in the.
Giannis,
But
Luca, are you kidding me? Just close the league,
I
dude.
want y'all. I want Luka Jokic. But anyway, that's one can dream. But anyway,
But it's good vibes this in July. It's very good
Yeah.
vibes in Clipperland. I have to say, everyone's like, you know what? No
Who's the
one's
starting
expecting
point guard?
anything.
Who's the
What?
starting point guard for you guys?
Harden.
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 Harden's
So
going to be
so Chris
starting.
Paul's coming off the bench.
Yeah, coming off the
Harden, and
bench
we and
or
we got Beal, we got John Collins. It's like listen, Clipper fans. This is how this before this whole shitstorm happened. Clipper fans were going, listen, we have a puncher's chance. If injuries break right, if the seeding breaks right, we have a chance to win a championship. It's
yeah.
it's a
What
long shot, but it was possible. There wasn't any expectations of it,
Well, on
but
paper, it looks great.
On
But
paper,
knowing the Clippers history, you knew something was going to happen.
so
right now they signed Brooke Lopez, they got Bradley Beal, right? They got
This
John
team on
Collins.
paper looks fantastic.
This team on paper could be a deep team, you know.
are they going to keep Kawhi? I mean, I haven't listened to the
We're gonna get
podcast.
into that. We're gonna
But
get
we'll,
into
we'll get we'll
that in
get
a
into it
bit.
right now, Chu, if you're ready
Yeah.
for this. Okay.
I'm
Real
ready. I'm
quick,
ready.
Drew,
Okay,
Drew,
so so
what's your take on James Harden?
Let's hear James Harden Clippers take here.
dude, I've always rooted for the guy. He's a Los Angelino native. Um, and of course, I always root for the underdogs. That's just how I am. So when he was playing the Warriors when he was on the Rockets, he was killing them. But yeah, now that I think, I mean, dude,
I
he's
mean, how
probably
was
like
he
30.
killing him? He never beat him.
Well, he never beat him, but it was those Rockets teams that were challenging the Warriors dynasty. They never beat him.
There
I
was a great interview with Kobe Bryant. He said that team will never win.
Yeah,
Everything's just run through James Harden. That's it. It's
James
one dynamic team.
James Harden. Obviously, he's a very polarizing player. He's obviously past his prime, but he did have a resurgence last year with the Clippers. I think you have to give him that, even though again, you're right. He again
I mean, he failed again. He
he
classically
failed. Yeah,
failed in the game
yes,
seven.
he again lost in the game seven. He
He
didn't.
doesn't play winning ball, you know?
Not it's
Ag-
hard to disagree with that right now. I agree.
Against the Nuggets, which was the second best team in the league, though.
Yeah, yeah, and the Nuggets had a defense that they kind of like, they were able to put some pressure on him. But
Well, also the thing about James Harden is he was getting crazy stats in a high-paced offense where the ball was in his hand 100% of the time, but that team didn't do nothing.
No.
And he was getting away with foul baiting and traveling nonstop. Eventually, the league and the players complained and said, "Look, we got to do something about this." To me, as a fan, I didn't like watching it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that there's a
And
that
then they changed the rules, and then all of a sudden his stats drop like crazy.
he also
Whether it's
got
because he
older.
got traded or it's a different system, but like, now he doesn't get away with the travels and the foul baiting, the all right, let me drive the lane and do this, let me go up for a shot and do that, like literally touch my beard and I'll flail and get to the line, you
yeah,
know?
but he's readjusted his offense to still
Yeah,
be
but now
effective.
he's way less effective than he was.
Well, he's also
Yeah,
older.
well,
He's also
he's
older.
old.
Yeah.
It's a different offense too.
Sure, sure, sure,
I'm
sure.
not like a Harden
But there
lover.
was a big drop off the year after they made those changes.
I think but in all fairness, to give Harden his credit, like he created a myriad of offensive like moves that people are now
That should be
using.
illegal. That should never have been part of the NBA. Now the NBA is almost unwatchable to me.
I mean, his
Like
dribble.
the amount of traveling is
The
nuts.
entirety of the NBA's unwatchability is diluted into the Harden. Is Harden for you? That's
Well,
a
no.
bold
Okay,
claim.
all right.
Bold
Let me.
claim.
Okay, if you want to phrase it that way, fine. But the amount of traveling that is done, like it's insanity. Even players that even the people in the league are like, this is just ridiculous.
On this point, I will say this kind of a completely like one-off tangent. I've been watching the WNBA playoffs the last like few days. Honestly, they're playing tough, dude. They're throwing elbows. They're playing. You should watch it. The men's game is way more finesse than the WNBA game in the playoffs. I've really been enjoying it, to be honest with you. Anyway, I'm just saying the NBA,
WNBA. Okay,
yeah.
but Harden's Euro step, that's Harden all the way.
It was a nice move. It's a nice move,
It's
dude.
a nice
That's
move.
Manu Ginobili 100%. It's not
Ginobili.
like he invented the Euro step.
He didn't invent it, but he did refine it.
All right.
I think
Okay.
that's a good defensive Harden. I think that's a
Harden jab step back.
Which is a travel.
The step back is dope. The
The
step back
step
is
back
dope.
is
The gather step,
tough.
get that shit out of the NBA. Get the gather step out of the NBA. People are literally carrying the ball and they're like, oh no, it's a continued dribble. I'm like,
And
what is this?
Harden's a
There is
great
an argument for that. There's an
Harden's
argument.
a great passer. He's a really good facilitator.
Yeah.
I mean, with the
I don't think
amount of
he's as
talent around
bad.
him and he doesn't do nothing,
I don't think he's as bad as you think.
doesn't get past the first round
No, no, he does disappear in the playoffs. You have to put that mark against him.
because he doesn't
Yeah.
play winning ball when there's good defense.
Yeah.
Mid-season, he'll get all the stats. No one will blow the whistle.
All right, let's go to Kawhi. Let's go
All
to
right.
let's do the-
So let's kind of okay. So we did other burning remarks here on anything Clipper cursed them, or let's get into the
Let's
big.
get into it.
Okay, so look, guys. So I know. So first, so sure, I got this here a little bit. So Chu, thank you for sharing and keeping us up to date with the Pablo Torre stuff. Pablo Torre knows. I've been listening to. There's now a four-part segment on this, right, Chu? There has been out.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I think Sylvain, you said you haven't listened to the most
I
recent one.
haven't listened to it. I'd love to hear
Yeah.
the update.
You should
What's the
check them out. Jay, have you checked those out? No, right?
I haven't had a chance
Yeah.
to listen to
All
him.
right. So okay. So just there's a lot of stuff is coming out, and you obviously pick up wherever you think there's some more important things. But from my understanding, okay, this company Aspiration, okay, which is a partner with the Clippers through some type of um carbon credit something, some type of shading, some types of business deals. The allegation, what is alleged is that the Clippers and Ballmer and Dennis Wong is his name, right? The other his
Yeah,
like college
yeah.
roommate who's like another
1%
governor.
owner.
Okay, 1% owner, and various entities related to Clippers are basically funneling money into Aspiration, which was which has been a sinking ship for the past 4 or 5 years, and funneling money to Kawhi for basically no-show jobs and just basically investing money into a company repeatedly. Uh, and so Kawhi can get his money in quarterly and installments when they're late. It's the original few numbers were as low as 7 mil a year for 28, but Pablo Torre even today was saying, or the one I listened to it today, but a couple days ago, that it's in the neighborhood maybe of like 100+ mil now, with all the money that's been put in. Ballmer 50 million here, and there's just so many details. Pablo Torre has a bunch of execs. He has like sources that he has interviews with, that are talking about what it was like to be working in Aspire. So he has a lot of insider information. He has done some really impressive like investigatory journalism here. I will say.
Narc,
Yeah, he basically,
narc.
yeah, he has, and the people, the big execs at Aspiration, the lot like some of them have been indicted. There's a guy named Sandberg. There's a few other guys. There's so many layers to this. There's so many like extensive details that I can't even think about right now. But basically, it looks like if Ballmer didn't know, like with because Cuban is like defending him a little bit, but Ballmer kind of get ahead of it, saying he didn't know, but. It's getting fishier and fishier every detail that's coming out. Is how is it possible that he didn't know, or he's trying to say he got scammed? And I for one will say, okay, we don't know for sure yet, but all these details, I mean, it just the mountain of information is piling up here quite a bit. Okay, Chu, what do you think? Am I kind of embrace? Am I getting
Yeah.
that mostly correct?
So I've been, of course, because I just like to put myself through pain. I've been following this story very closely. I'd like to start off with I always need someone to prove it's innocent until proven guilty.
Of course, this is
Okay,
America. This is
this is
America.
America. Okay. That being said, if you put a gun to my head today, as someone who's following this very closely, there's if I had to bet, yes, I think that there was salary cap shenanigans. Okay.
Right.
The only way that there wasn't is if there was some sort of okay, let me go back. So Joe Sandberg is the founder. He's been indicted for wire fraud.
Wire
He's
fraud.
stole hundreds of millions of dollars basically from investors. So he is a full-on scam artist, crook. Okay. And the only way there is one. Have you guys remember Avengers, where there was one alternate reality that they allow that the Avengers can beat Thanos? You guys remember that in that movie?
Mm,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Endgame.
there's one way
Yeah.
this works is if Joe Sandberg and Uncle Dennis, who's Kawhi's uncle, somehow had a deal without the Clippers noticing, and there is an alternate reality where that does make sense. Okay. Um,
That Uncle Dennis and Sandberg actually did have an arrangement that Ballmer and Clippers were unaware about, and they were
yes,
getting scammed to doing. I mean, okay,
yes. That's the only way this works. Other than that, unfortunately, this is blown up so big on NBA Twitter that in the court of public opinion, the Clippers have already lost. Okay.
right.
So do you guys remember there was it actually launched Netflix basically. There was a show called Making a Murderer. It was
Yeah,
about these
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah,
okay, Making a Murderer was a very famous documentary back in like 2014, 2015 that was
yeah.
on
I've
Netflix
binge watched
and
that whole thing.
and basically what it did is it was a documentary that presented these cops in Wisconsin as corrupt. And after the documentary came out, there was a huge public uproar trying to get these cops out, these judge. And then a couple of years later, there was a counter documentary called Convicting a Murderer, which went through every possible thing that the original documentary said and countered it and showed actual evidence. And so all I want to say is that with this is we are hearing one side. We've
Right.
only heard one side. We've heard Pablo Torre, who admittedly, if I was Steve Ballmer, dude, I mean, this guy is just wrecking shop on the valuation of the Clippers and everything that I mean, he's terrifying, dude. Every time Pablo Torre tweets, Clipper fans' butts just clench because it's like he's just coming out with evidence and interviews and documents after documents. It's
Yeah.
so hard to ignore. And dude, I believe me, I don't want it to be true, right? But it's like, dude, this guy is coming out. He's not. It's not circumstantial. He's coming out with like actual bank statements, written testimony, interviews. Okay, that being said, we've heard one side, so it is very easy. We're very easy just to jump to whatever is like the hot fresh thing at the time.
Well, so
So I think even if the Clippers are innocent, for them to come out of this, they're going to have to basically hire an equivalent, a podcaster, an equivalent Pablo Torre from their side, and present episodes on how to debunk Pablo Torre.
are you
Okay, but
available? Are you available for this, by the way?
no,
To be
No,
hired?
dude.
but gun to
Yeah.
my head, I do think there's definitely something fishy. If
Yeah.
I had to if I had to bet,
All they have to do is call Trump and the FCC and just tell them to and take it off. Just they don't want it anymore, dude. Yeah,
Of
it's not
course.
benefiting the Clippers, dude. Ballmer's an investor for Trump. It's all
Okay,
good,
I will
dude.
say Ballmer. The thing about Ballmer is that I mean, there was like this. So a few weeks ago, the all the owners met, right? And there was we're hearing rumblings that like there's a the elephant in the room because Ballmer, first of all, is well liked as an owner. He serves on the audit committee for like the NBA. He is by far and away the richest owner in the NBA, right? By the tunes of hundreds of billions of dollars, right? So like it's bad for the NBA as well because he's not Donald Sterling. He's not like a black sheep owner kind
Right.
of.
People like them.
People like Ballmer. How
Yeah.
so I
Conflict of interest.
there's a conflict of, but like I completely agree. I do think that there is some shenanigans, but it remains to be seen. I think what the Clippers will do. And Adam Silver, even as well, it was like yesterday, they were like he was saying, I don't know about those deals and stuff like that. And but he knows he was aware. So the NBA has to do something. What they're gonna do now, what the NBA is gonna do, how much they're gonna quote
Well, they're going to investigate.
they're going to investigate. But what are they
They're
going to
doing.
if they come up and say, yeah, now we're all forecasting. If they come out and say, well, the Clippers were not in the wrong, people are going to call BS on that, right? They're going to. I don't like you said in the court of public opinion. I think whatever it is, it doesn't look good. I mean, and obviously with the lack of playing that Kawhi has done, and just Kawhi hasn't really done much to. I mean, it's unfair, but how much has he actually played in a Clippers jersey? What is it really like? What are people? It's not like he's like going out and saying anything at all about this. He's not trying to get ahead of it. There's
Oh,
no
he's a quiet guy,
quiet guy
quiet.
and a
He's a
fun
fun
guy.
guy.
A fun guy, of
One
course.
guy, and he's
A fun guy, of
quiet.
course. So I am interested to see what are the next stages, but this is far
Honestly,
from over.
if
This
you
is
don't
far
mind, I'm
from
gonna
over.
chime in.
Go for it.
Honestly, I think this looks bad on Kawhi. I'm not
Yes.
saying he knew everything, that was going on. Maybe this was all orchestrated by what's his name?
Uncle
Uncle
Dennis.
Dennis. Okay. Could be a deal, like you said, between Uncle Dennis and the other Dennis, right?
Yeah.
Or sorry, and Aspiration
Aspiration.
and the other Dennis, right? Could be that, right? True, I wanna say what the parallel you drew with the Making a Murderer and the other one is excellent. I think that needs to be done all the time, right? With any piece. There is something to be said. You could have a million facts and present them a million ways. You can have a million stats and present them a million ways to project a narrative that you want. I'm
Kobe
not
MVP. Kobe
I'm not
MVP.
saying Pablo Torre has a horse in the race, but he does have a podcast he's trying to promote, right? And I see it in the way he presents things. He leads the listener. He leads the question. He'll ask a question, but he already has an answer programmed for you, right?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
he creates this narrative, right? Just like Making a Murderer created this narrative. And you know what? Making a Murderer, the guy's still in jail,
Yeah.
right? Because the evidence is still there. But these guys showed all these other stats and information and evidence and presented it a certain way that sways a public opinion. So I think it's always super important to try to look at all the facts and not listen. And when you have a podcaster, you got to understand that podcasters, just like us, we're driven by viewership. I mean, we're driven by
28
basketball.
subscribers, 28
There you
subscribers,
go.
over a
There you
thousand
go.
views. Thank
But
you.
they're driven by viewership as well. So if you're going to come out with this, oh, look, I did all this. He did fantastic investigation. I'm not going to say that he didn't. He
Right.
went deep. But he's also very good at presenting things a certain way to create a narrative, right? So I can't wait for the investigation.
Okay.
And as you
I,
said, True, they will need, if they are innocent,
so
someone to present everything the way that Pablo Torre did
so on this point,
against it.
Pablo Torre has several insiders, people that worked at Aspiration for several years that is part of his podcast that are big. Maybe those people, maybe they were wronged by the company. Maybe they have an axe to grind too.
Right.
Maybe the information they're feeding him is also one-sided from what's happening inside the company. But
Right. I mean, it's hard to credit someone that, has a voiceover. Like, I get it. They
yeah,
need to stay out of the public. Cool. But until the investigation interviews them,
yeah.
right? This is just Pablo Torre saying
Yeah,
it.
but the guy was also the Sandberg was also indicted on wire fraud and convicted.
Sure, sure,
So,
sure, sure.
and the
But
thing,
all
and
the
the
all the
thing
all
here,
his witnesses, all of Pablo Torre's witnesses,
yeah,
right?
I
You
don't know.
might as well think about it as Pablo Torre is saying that. Saying I have a witness without
Yeah,
saying who they are is not having a
I
witness.
don't know. Jay,
I'm in a
where are you
lawsuit
at, Jay?
myself.
So
Jay,
where
I'm in
I'm
a
at,
lawsuit myself right now, and that's not how it goes.
Jay,
You know
where
what
are
I'm
you
saying?
at right
where I'm at with it right now is like it's very much a reflection of where we are in our society.
now?
Is
Okay.
what is the are the parallels that I draw, where it's like people are discrediting media and journalists and trying to censor that and saying like, oh, you don't have all the facts. And I'm not saying this based on what you said so long, but it feels like ever since Adam Silver was like, oh, the NBA is just a highlight sport. Like he lost a lot of credibility with me with that. And then so this whole like stat of you're gonna remove the half court heaves, so he's really just playing to like a statistics game. So with that, like I lose a lot of respect that I have for the league, for Adam Silver. And
The
so
credibility of it.
yeah, and so that if
Yeah.
I lose that, and now we're dealing with the situation like this, I don't feel like the league is going to handle the situation in a way that is like fair. It
Oh,
feels
they're
like
gonna do what's best for the league.
they're going to do what's best for the league, and what is
Yeah.
best for the league, having Kawhi remain on the Clippers and have them make a run this year, even though they violated some rules that they're probably going to change. And so like
Is
that's
that is that what's best though for the league?
I'm yeah, I mean
You do, Jay.
competition.
Or would you, if it turns out that Ballmer and the Clippers knowingly or through ignorance, willful ignorance, they were circumventing the cap and funneling money to Kawhi, what is an appropriate and just
Well,
punishment
what is possible?
for
Let's
the
talk about
Clippers?
what's possible first.
Yeah.
You know, what's possible is they can forfeit Kawhi's contract. They can remove picks, first picks,
Fines, big
and they
fines.
can fines,
We're
and
talking
they can
$7-10 million. That's nothing.
yeah. They can suspend Ballmer, right? But let me ask you this, and I heard this on another podcast. I thought it was really interesting. Is voiding Kawhi's contract a bad thing?
Honestly, huh? If
Since
Oh, yeah.
Kawhi has been a
they're
Clipper,
over Kawhi, right?
repeatedly injured.
Yeah.
How
But
many games has he played?
but then
30?
when they void him, does he go to another team?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, then he's gonna go to the Thunder.
Well, so he's
imagine.
hey, what's best for the league? Have him come to the Lakers, right?
I wouldn't want. I
I'll
just think
I'll
Kawhi at
take
this point. I don't think he's. I don't.
What do the Lakers want? Does anyone want
What
Kawhi at
team would
this
take
point?
a
If
team?
you're a general manager of a
Team
team,
will
any
take
team, what?
any team would take him. Just
Kawhi is
Who?
the truth.
Really?
Kawhi
Yeah,
is the
After all
truth.
this? No. Look,
I think
Kawhi is the truth.
as a basketball player, he's one of my favorites.
He's one of the best to ever
He's
put
one of the best. But given all his off-court package that comes along with it, you know,
I don't think he's a locker room killer, so I think that would be the first thing I look at from a GM perspective. But
I'm not saying locker room,
if I
but
could just go back
franchise.
to
Like,
finish,
look at what he did with the Clippers.
yeah. Let me just finish my point. So basically, if with the credibility and the respect that I've lost for the league, and I just want to draw the similarities. And I know we're not a political podcast or anything like that, but it just feels like it just feels like very similar in the way that things are handled in our society. And so, like, I wouldn't put it past the league to do something that feels like I don't know if that was just, or like, you know what I mean. So that was just my final point, and just
You mean like a slap on the wrist and then
yeah,
move on?
yeah,
it'll be a slap on the wrist from Silver to Ballmer, and we'll just kind of move on, and it'll be fine. And
for the betterment of the league.
Well, the thing is, they are going to investigate, and whatever they find, we might not even know to the
Right.
full extent. But what's for
Release the
certain is that
files.
what's for certain is
We
that
need the flight logs.
what's for certain is that this is going to take many months, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
The start of the league is October 31st,
Yeah.
the start of the season.
Yeah.
So the Clippers are starting with that lineup we looked at.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
so is it better if they do worse? If they're better, is it gonna make the story worse, or if they should like tank and like have everyone be hurt again? And
Well,
they're
first of
losing
all,
their picks.
Is it gonna affect the team?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
if you're on a
there's definitely gonna be some stuff. I mean, what's Kawhi gonna do when he walks in that locker room? And
Is he even gonna play?
It's a major distraction. It's a
I think
major distraction for their
it's a
squad.
distraction.
Yeah.
It's definitely a distraction. But
The questions, like all that, yeah.
So that's why if
there's going to be tons of questions all the time. Media. It's going to be aspiration, all this stuff.
if the penalty is voiding Kawhi's contract, that's a blessing in disguise for the Clippers.
Okay, so let me I just wanted to say that if it does turn out to be provably true that that Ballmer was in cahoots and found a way around the salary cap, it is my opinion as a Clipper fan that they need to bring the hammer down and they need to come down and they need to penalize the Clippers as hard as possible. Because if you don't, you're going to set a precedent for all these other teams to find workarounds
Yeah, I mean they slammed Joe
you need to
Smith
come
hard.
down hard. Okay,
Yeah.
so the only time this has ever happened was in I think 1999, 2000,
Yeah.
Joe Smith
Joe Smith deal,
with
They slammed
with
him.
with the T-Wolves, and I think they lost like 5 first-round
with
picks, which is
5 picks.
crazy,
Yes.
right? And so, actually, sidebar, I wanted to mention this. One of the top 20 best players of all time, Kevin Garnett, right in the peak of the Lakers dynasty when he would have had the best chance to compete with the Lakers. I mean, Laker fans completely forget about this. They take away his team's 5 picks. So anyway, I know you guys never think about that in Lakers dominance
And
era,
I don't
but
need to, honestly. So Yeah.
Yeah, I got 5 chips. I'm all right.
No, true. I mean, but let's circle back to what your aspirations and dreams were for this season. I think regardless of whatever happens, I think the distraction of this all season is going to heavily derail that the hopes and dreams that they had for the squad for this year.
Potentially, yes. I agree with you. I
I mean,
agree with
well,
you. There's just two more points that I have here. So I had actually listened to a few Pablo Torre podcasts earlier this summer. He did a great one on Malik Beasley. Remember how Beasley was
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
yeah, yes.
right. He was under investigation for gambling. There was a
Yeah.
great Pablo Torre episode where I'm like, damn, this dude is guilty. He is guilty. But you know what? The FBI, and who knows how credible the FBI is these days, but
And
the
all right.
FBI investigated and they actually just found him not guilty. So
Oh,
Pablo Torre went dove into Malik Beasley, gave this whole list of really interesting. We're like, wow, Beasley is guilty. FBI went in and actually found him not guilty. Okay, my second point was, oh, isn't it ironic?
Hold on that one. Hold on that one,
Yeah,
dude. The FBI is going to act in the better interest of a large conglomerate like the NBA that
yeah.
provides.
If they find that he's
If they
like
guilty, the
guilty
whole
of
league
like
is
pitching games, like the NBA betting is so huge now. Like if it's found that he's throwing games, like
fucked.
they're gonna. It's like a Donaghy thing again, right? Like actually finding him. But yeah, who's to say? But then now you're going on this rabbit hole of like the only reason they're saying he's not guilty is because like it's better for the league and for better for betting if it's like
And
authentic.
well,
better for the country.
let's see what happens to Beasley because if Beasley's playing in a couple weeks, then that's a whole different story because they came down hard on Javante Porter or whatever the guy's name is, Michael Porter Jr.'s brother.
Michael Porter Jr.
Um,
They need to investigate
um,
Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
yeah. My
Oh,
my
boy.
last point that I just wanted to say regarding the Clippers curse is like, isn't it like so just like classic Clippers curse that if they violate the salary caps, they still didn't even make it into the finals. Like they do all this, say they do this, and they go through this intricate web of lies and deception, and they can't even get out of the finals. It's like, dude,
What, the Western Conference Finals?
they can't even get to the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, they make it to the Western Conference Finals one time.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, so it's ironic. It's just on par.
Going
It's
back to
on
Buffalo.
par for the course.
I'm curious to see how Ballmer is going to handle this throughout the next few months. He's probably going to get some of his legal team together. I mean, the Clippers' official statement was about how they're kind of saying that like we're going to work with the investigators. We hope to find and uncover truths of all these things. Of course, you're going to say that, but what is Ballmer going to do? Is he going to go after Pablo Torre? Is he going to try to come after him and saying like you kind of blew the cap on something and
Gonna Jimmy Kimmel him.
If
They're gonna
it
Jimmy
if
Kimmel him.
it if it comes out that Pablo Torre is wrong,
yeah, like what's
Lamar could sue for defamation hard. Like
that's what I'm
Pablo,
saying. Like, what if Ballmer's going to try to
done.
make a case that that what Pablo's like he was acting? What if it turns out that even if it's maybe bending the rules, he was within certain things? Like the relationship that the Clippers had with Aspiration is separate from what like the Ballmer had. It still stinks, dude. But
Also, quick question.
yeah,
If the what's that dude's name? The other Dennis with the
Dennis
number.
Wong.
Dennis Wong.
Yeah. So if it turns out it's just him, but acting on behalf of the Clippers,
No, if it's Dennis Wong, it's still because he's a 1% owner.
right,
If it's Dennis
right,
Wong,
right,
they're still
right,
fucked.
right, exactly. So Bomber could still come out of this innocent, look like in the court of public opinion, and just pin it on this one dude. They get the hammer, but Bomber stays around and still has
Yeah,
his.
That sounds about right.
yeah. I mean,
That sounds
That's
about right.
that's what I think is
there's a
gonna
lot of
happen.
there's a lot of ways that this is going to play out, and I mean, we're still in the front end of it. I think I thought it was the story every week. The story is breaking further now.
Yeah.
This is
It's
episode 1 of the
yeah,
Great
yeah.
Western podcast of this Clipper curse coverage.
Clipper curse
Very
continues.
much so.
Clipper Curse Part 1.
Yeah,
To be continued.
to be continued for real. But I mean, yeah.
Boys, I gotta
And
jump
what
off.
do you think? What do you
Okay.
guys think? Is there any doubt? Do you guys have any doubt that they
If you
did
got
it?
to
Or
if you got to dip, no worries. We'll stand for a couple more seconds. But if you
Oh,
got to dip, it's all good. Final remark
we'll
here.
finish this one point. Go ahead, Chu.
Yeah.
what do you guys think? Do you guys think they're guilty?
I think everyone's guilty in the league of doing it in one way or another.
So
That's my take. I think
that's a huge
everybody does
point.
what they have to do to make sure they're the most competitive as possible and they're able to compensate their superstars. But I think the Clippers just got caught, and that's an ode to the Clippers curse.
Yeah, that's a good point. If it's the thing where if Cuban is saying if the first thing that Cuban says is like, oh, all these teams are doing it, you should have like what it's like par for the course. That's a much bigger problem for the league and for the
That
image.
wasn't Cuban. That was Balmer that said that.
They're going to
He
sweep
said
it under the rug.
Was it Ballmer or was it Cuban that said that?
Balmer said they should
Oh.
investigate everybody.
And if that's the case, then he's basically trying to deflect and saying, well, why am I going to be in trouble for something that everybody does? Which he has a point there too, but
They're going to
then you're just admitting guilt.
They're going to do anything they can to sweep it under the rug because the NBA is such a huge conglomerate that generates so much money that they're going to just try and make it go away as smooth as possible.
no,
That's my take.
that is a narrative. All
On
right,
that take, I got to bounce, boys. I'm really glad I was able to join you guys.
of course, bro.
Look forward to listening to the whole podcast. Love you, boys.
Love you,
Great
boys.
podcast.
Peace.
Later.
Tune into the hot take. I'm about to drop
Okay.
a hot take.
Here we
Tune
go.
in, watch it later.
Okay, I will.
Watch it later.
Peace.
Later, boys.
Later.
So quick hot take if we want to cap it off.
I'm good. We've been going for about what, about an hour almost. So
All right, well,
Yeah.
so it can be a hot take that can be discussed actually.
let's do it. I'm good.
It's with the whole gambling theme, right? We
Okay,
got more.
Stu, what do you got?
players.
You got a moment? You got a moment for this?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, it'll be quick.
Gambling.
Obviously, sports betting is a huge industry. It's not going away. And it's very difficult to set certain regulations so that players don't bet or teams don't, try to cover the spread or not cover the spread, et cetera, et cetera. I had an idea, and it'll never get adapted, but it's an interesting one, is the team. So before each game, the line gets set, right? And let's say the Clippers are playing the Lakers next year, and the line is -7 Clippers, right? The
Okay.
Clippers are favored by 7 points, right? The team that covers the spread gets a financial, bonus, reward, or whatever, right? Because then that means there's incentive for both teams to cover the spread. That means you can't have guys miss a shot. You see what I'm saying? Just to not cover the spread. Because it's easy to miss something and not hit what you're going to do and bet against yourself. It's harder to bet on yourself and get what you're trying to do.
You're saying you need to hit this three to cover the spread. That's
versus to airball a three.
Yeah, miss it.
Versus airball a three. Yeah. So that to me would add competition to the sport. Obviously, the NBA is never going to adapt this, but it was just a thought that I think it's one of the only ways to even the playing field, because or else how are we going to investigate every player that misses a field? Because I see all these clips on Instagram or whatever social media where they zoom into like the bench and then they see a player going like this because like the spread is such and the game's already out of, like you're going to investigate all of that. It's impossible.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in a world like you said, where the court of public opinion and people are all over TikTok, social media, cutting, editing, making these narratives just for almost fun, maybe.
Yeah, they zoomed into the Warriors bench, and Draymond was like talking to the refs, like, I know what you're doing, like talking about blowing the whistle to cover the spread or whatever it was. It's impossible to investigate and control all of that.
Imagine if, is it common practice? Yeah, I mean that's a wild thing. I mean, this is a new age of, it was illegal before, right? This stuff. Now it's front and center. So
what do you guys think that the league should do?
I mean,
about sports, about players or teams or refs getting involved?
Dude, I mean, this is
I think this is a whole nother episode, but I do think it's hurting the sport. I think that people watch sports games now, they're more interested in their parlays than their actual team winning. And I think team
Absolutely.
Yeah.
camaraderie, where it's like, oh, it doesn't care if you don't care if Luka scores, if he has 12 rebounds or not. It's like you want your team to win. I think that's important. Like rooting for a team versus rooting for stat line. It's a totally different dynamic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I agree with you. And
but
Mark,
like it is, dude, the whole thing is so screwed. Like, you know, these people, you cannot play online poker in America today, but you can sports bet or you can buy a lotto ticket. The whole gambling, it's it's they're crooks and they're preying on young men is
I
what's
mean,
happening. And I think
it's a huge problem in America, gambling
yeah,
addiction. Right? Like it's and now that it's front and center, even it says even on ESPN, you're seeing like ESPN bet and like all the betting lines are on like national on and ESPN now. So it's
and
like
the amount of betting line manipulation, especially with live betting, just to bait people into bad bets,
yeah,
yeah,
insane.
for me as a person, I do fantasy. I do fantasy basketball a lot, but that's a different character, right? I'm not putting money on like, oh, is Luca gonna hit his assists? It's
Let
fun. It's a dopamine rush, but
let me let me let me pop in. And Mark, I remember when you started so last year, Mark and I were in a fantasy league. This
I've
was
been
my
doing it for
first
a long
year.
time. Yeah, I've been doing it for
Mark's been doing it forever. Last year was my first year because I never wanted to do fantasy because I felt that it was bad for the sport. Just like you said earlier, you're rooting for your stat line rather than your team. And I remember watching games with Mark, and I'd be like rooting for the Lakers, and then Mark would be like, yes, anytime someone would score that he has on his fantasy. I'm like, what the heck?
yeah.
Like, you don't even care if the Lakers win or lose. You just want your fantasy team.
I will admit that there, especially earlier when I was like kind of more like wanting to win, because when you do fantasy, and also it's probably to a higher degree with betting, people want to feel like they know. People want to feel like they're
Right.
right. And they
Right.
put a lot of, and this is more metaphysical at this point, but people wrap up their identities in what they think about their sporting opinions, right?
Oh yeah, I
And
have to
that's
prove that Kobe is
yeah.
the best ever
So like
to
if you're betting
accept myself as a human being,
That's true. That's true.
right?
Yeah, but I think there is more to it, and I think just thinking about it right now, I definitely think that we need to talk more about this and what this is more of like a bigger societal issue. But I'm a person, I don't bet. I do fantasy. I don't do daily fantasy. I don't do live betting. I know you and your brother, I know you and Dr. Adrian, do that sometimes too for fun, but you guys do like
Well,
small,
we do small bets.
yeah,
We
small
do
bet.
small bets, and it's more in the interest of statistics.
Yeah, you do exact. So that there
But
are
you say you don't bet, but there's a cash prize at the end.
no.
If there
I
wasn't a
know.
cash prize, would you be managing your team like you do?
There
Uh,
is cash incentives to do it, but that's
yeah.
not, over the course of my leagues, over the course of, the whole season, I have a few $100. It's not like, I'm
Oh,
not betting
sure,
hundred
but in
dollars
a
on a
way, it is
parlay.
gambling.
Yeah, it's no, it is. I'm not saying it's not. Fantasy is also gambling. I
Yeah.
won't deny. I'm not gonna say it's not. I'm not gonna say I'm absolved from it. It's just I don't do like the parlays and stuff like that. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it can be fun. But it's like, look, if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800. No, like, if you have no, I just
Please
think
call Dr. Peltzer. He'll help you
if
out.
if it should be fun, but the rule is, for my opinion, it's like it's play money, it's slush money, it's fun money. If you lose it, you can't expect to win and like have that be part of your life. I mean, Chu, you were a professional poker player for a long time. You know the tilts of putting your life, on a gambling situation. Obviously, it's going to be different with sports gambling than with like playing poker or whatever. But like for a regular sports better, right? Have some fun, but
Well, let
like.
me tell you what. Let me tell you what. Whether or not you're pro or against gambling or what it does for the league, etc., it can make a Hawks versus Wizards game the most exciting game ever.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. You're like last year, like please Jordan Poole, like hit these points and make your points, right?
Well,
Hit my
you know what
five
we should,
Yeah, what's up?
last leg parlay, the rush you get, the
Yeah.
last leg of the 5-team parlay.
well, you know what we should do is every once the season starts, is we'll do a lock of the week, and we all pool our money, whatever it is. We'll pitch $5 or $10, and
Yeah,
and
I'm
we
down.
have a
I'm down.
bankroll and be like, okay, we're gonna take whatever it is, the Hawks over the Sixers on Thursday, and we just we have a podcast pool, and we see how much we can run it up or how much we lose over the course of the year.
Yeah, let's see
Just
the
I'm
choose
down.
one
three
game.
most brilliant basketball minds. See
There
if
you
we can,
go.
you
How
Honestly.
can
know.
we lose? We're guaranteed. The height of mine here is just,
I mean, with
I mean,
26 followers here.
Well, hold on, no, hold on. That's a great segue. Sylvain, I am Coach Theory here. I am ex-Laker fan. I am pleased to announce that we are now up to 28. Like
Woo!
28 subscribers. Okay. Who is right? And then you click here. Okay. 1,200 views all time. Okay. So, I added some nice photos here to the thing to make it look kind of nice.
Oh,
Isn't that
I
fun?
love our podcast.
It gets right.
We
Okay.
just need to make shirts now.
Yeah, we need t-shirts. We need all kinds of stuff. And you already have Rasta
You know
Pop.
what we need? Neck keychains.
Heck, you-
The keychains
Dude,
you snap around
you're a
your neck.
businessman. Dude, what kind of merchandising can we get here? What kind of
Yeah, we
merch?
can get some swag. We can do swag.
We can do some swag, get a nice t-shirt or something. Guys out there, if you make it this far, like,
Bro, a
subscribe.
jacket with GWP on the back.
There you go. All right.
Great Western Podcast.
All right, y'all. So, let's wrap it up. That was a great episode. I think we're gonna keep track of the aspiration more too. And that was a nice deep dive. Thank you, Chu, on this like the Clippers curse overall. Nice historic like look back at some of these players and teams. Okay. All right, y'all. Say we're logging
Thanks,
off.
guys. Later.
Can't wait for part 2 of this.
There you go.